Welcome to AC 24/7, I'm Aaron Dean. The Florida Board of Education approved a controversial set of standards for how Black history should be taught in the state's public schools. The new K-12 standards include teaching not just about violence against African Americans, but also violence by African Americans. One state senator called the change victim blaming. The standards also include teaching that slaves developed skills that in some cases could be used for their personal benefit. The state's largest teachers union is calling the standards a disservice to Florida's students and, quote, a big step backward. The head of the NAACP also condemned the new rules. He said that it's imperative people understand the horrors of slavery and Jim Crow were a violation of human rights and represented the darkest period in American history. And we're learning new details about a woman in Alabama who went missing for 49 hours. Carly Russell initially disappeared last Thursday night outside of Birmingham. She then turned up 2 days later. Many questions remain about what happened. Local police are now releasing new details about the case. The Advocate Channel's Melissa Rainey has the update.
It's a case that's baffled law enforcement in Alabama. A 25-year-old woman reported missing, then showing up at her home 49 hours later.
It sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city, but the entire state and the nation as well.
Nursing student Carly Russell was reported missing last Thursday. The bizarre case started when Russell called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the side of the highway.
There is a kid just walking by themselves.
When police arrived, they found Russell's wig and cell phone in the grass. Her purse was still in the car, but no signs of her or the toddler.
We've been unable to verify most of Carly's initial statement made to investigators.
2 days later, Russell returned home and was taken to a local hospital for treatment. She told police a man grabbed her and she ended up in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. Police are still investigating her account of events, saying they seek to conduct an in-depth interview with Russell and that they have not found any evidence of a toddler walking down the interstate.
We have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case.
Russell's mother taking to Facebook saying, quote, "Our baby is safe. We do want to ask for privacy at this time to allow us to just love on our daughter." I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
The Minnesota Supreme Court has denied former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's petition to review his conviction. It came after a Minnesota Court of Appeals upheld Chauvin's conviction of the murder of George Floyd. In the legal filing, his attorneys argued again that he was denied a fair trial when the court refused to change the venue. They have also argued extensive pretrial publicity should provide grounds for a new trial. Floyd died on May 25, 2020 after Chauvin held a knee on his neck for nearly 10 minutes. Chauvin was found guilty in April 2021 of second-degree unintentional murder, second-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to more than 22 years in prison. An attorney for Chauvin says that they will now appeal his case to the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, money matters are a top concern for military families, but they might soon be getting some assistance. The House's latest defense bill outlines several proposed measures, including a pay raise, additional employment help for military spouses, and more assistance for housing and childcare. The Senate is now considering the legislation. Also, last month, President Joe Biden announced executive actions to make it easier for military spouses to find and hold on to jobs. Advocates say many in the military are having a tough time affording the jump in housing costs, food prices, and childcare. Well, UPS is heading back to the negotiating table with Teamsters Union. It will mark the first time the sides have met since talks broke down before 4th of July weekend. This week, thousands of Teamsters have been staging practice pickets to put the pressure on UPS by showing what could lie ahead if a deal isn't reached by the end of the month. The union credited those rallies for helping to open UPS for further negotiations. The carrier pointed out that there are only a few issues left to resolve, but among them is by far the biggest, and that's pay. The Teamsters want part-time employees to earn more than the $16.20 per hour that they start now. Union reps say that it could take years for those workers to become full-timers who earn an average of $95,000 a year. A rare EF3 tornado ripped through North Carolina, leaving behind more than 16 miles of destruction. Meanwhile, Kentucky is under a state of emergency from a record rainfall that saturated the state in just 24 hours. And more than 90 million people are under heat alerts from Florida to California as sweltering temperatures prove to be deadly. The Advocate Channel's Ivan Rodriguez reports.
Destruction for miles in the wake of an EF3 tornado that tore through North Carolina for 16.5 miles for about 30 minutes Wednesday.
And there was a debris field that just started coming up over the trees in a circular motion.
The rare tornado not seen in the central part of the state ever in the month of July, also damaging a Pfizer plant, which could intensify the country's already historic level of drug shortages. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, a state of emergency, record rainfall in 24 hours, triggering widespread flooding.
We are not fully out of the woods yet. Multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms are expected in the region throughout today and through tonight. The main impacts will be damaging winds, lightning, and unfortunately more heavy rainfall.
Across the nation, sweltering temperatures are shattering records. More than 65 high temperature records could be broken by Saturday. In Arizona, at least 18 people have now died from the heat.
Some people even have temperatures, we've had someone up to 110 degrees, which is not oftentimes very fatal or certainly life-changing.
And people in Las Vegas stuck on a plane for hours in triple-digit heat say something appeared off.
The cabin was pretty warm. I imagine it was much hotter in the back. People were restless. Yeah. And we got word that people got sick. There was a medical emergency.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
JP Morgan Chase says American families are building their savings accounts back up slower than they did in the past. Analysts at the bank's think tank say that customers have 10 to 15% more money in their account than they did in 2019. That's good, but when you consider inflation, a different story emerges. 2 years ago, top earners had enough money to continue normal spending for 43 days without any income. Now, they have just over a month worth of spending money. That means fewer people have the resources to weather a recession than in the past. Ahead of Friday's release of the movie Barbie, dozens of brands and retailers are catering to nostalgic adults, hoping that they'll spend their extra cash on bright pink clothes and accessories to reconnect them with their childhood memories. The Advocate Channel's Cole Higgins takes a look at the brands looking to cash in big on the small, iconic doll.
The business of Barbie is hot pink. This summer's blockbuster Barbie movie has retailers and brands rushing to cash in on the nostalgia.
I'd say the world has turned pink. It's an incredibly important milestone for the brand.
Retailers are hoping cautious consumers will dip into their discretionary spending to buy Barbie-themed merch. More than 100 eager companies, including Aldo, Gap, and Crocs, have signed deals with Mattel, the maker of the iconic doll, to create and sell Barbie-themed clothing, shoes, accessories, and countless other products, including the doll herself.
I think I had 24.
24?
And they were gone within I'd say within 48 hours.
In New York City, Bloomingdale's flagship store, a pop-up shop looking more like Barbie's dream house. Meanwhile, Mattel is also hoping the new film will give Barbie sales a boost after sales in the first quarter of this year fell 22% compared to the same quarter last year.
We anticipate that this is going to be an unlock moment of huge monetization potential for the Barbie brand.
It comes as higher grocery prices have impacted consumer spending. Retailers are hoping the pink craze this summer can chase away the inflation blues. Experts say it gives retailers a creative opportunity to lure in frugal shoppers into their store and convince them to spend their cash.
I've seen, more diversity, in terms of dolls in general. So I will say there's an effort.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
And thank you so much for joining us for AC 24/7. For more, go to theadvocatechannel.com and subscribe on the Advocate Channel YouTube page. For AC 24/7, I'm Aaron Dean.